Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It was brought to my attention that I'm an idiot. Thank you, Tristan. In the last video regarding the Project Tracker, while I had gone through the audio, got the video all made up, and I had actually added in the things that were supposed to be on screen, I forgot to click save before I clicked export, which meant it went from the last point where I had saved it, which was before I added anything visually into the video. Now, I could go back, remake the video, and re-upload, but I thought instead I'll do a quick unscripted video taking you through the things that were missing from the video. So let's start off with the flow diagram I was using to get the system out of my head. For ingestion, I didn't really include anything because it was just a quick talk through. That was all that was really needed. Until I know exactly what methods I am using for the ingestion, that's fine. It's just basically going to be going, stuff to inbox. This here is for the sorting into the system. So from the inbox, we flow down to, is there action required? If no, is it worth keeping? If no, trash it. If yes, most likely that means it's either an idea or a reference document. So an idea for a new Let's Play or a new project to do, or it's a reference document, something along the lines of, I know at some point I'm going to be working on X, this is a tutorial for how to do it, or this is a link to a study on a field which I'm interested in, so either into the ideas list or the reference list. So let's assume that there is action required instead. Is it a single action? No. Then it has to go out to become a project. Now, from the project, it should be broken down into small, actionable, single actions, at which point it basically comes back to if it was a yes on this single action. For each of these steps, if it's under 2 minutes, you should just do it. Basically, by the time you've gone through adding it to the system and things like that, you might as well have done it in the first place. So, straight up, if it's something quick and simple, just do it. If it's going to take you more than 2 minutes, the first thing you should ask yourself is whether or not it is you who should be doing it. Obviously, for my system, the majority of it is, well, yes, it is going to be me who's doing it because I'm... It's not a large company. In fact, it's not even a company. But there might be the options where, for instance, I'm waiting on somebody else, or I have something to be done and I need... say I was making something for my dad and I had to wait on his say-so, whether he liked this or whether he wanted changes. An example was a 3D printed handle for a drill guide I was working on for him. So the action in that case would have been approving the handle, but either way, you delegate it, it goes onto the waiting for list. That's probably not the best way of wording the things, but you get to what I was on about. Either it goes to the waiting for list because the next step requires for somebody else. I don't know how clear I'm being on that, but hopefully close enough. If I should do it, then the next question is, does it need to be done at a set time? For instance, is it an appointment or something along those lines, then it needs to just be added to the calendar. If not, then it's just added to the generic task list. That's how I had it sort of thought out in my head, and I did get it simplified down, but let's go to the Notion pages. There we go. Because, as I said, the plan was to make it in Notion, and using a couple of templates which people have already made, the GTD dashboard here by Let Me Know If on Twitter. This was the first thing that gave me the idea that I could create the system and have the different pages, and you see how it has these different segments here. They're actually copies of other lists that are pre-filtered out, so my idea would be that so at that point I knew I could have a master task list. I think that actually, let's go into it. This does actually have, master task list. So as for instance here, it has all of its tasks in that one list, and then the other pages in the Notion template, like for projects, for instance, I believe is just a filtered list of the different tasks on the list. Actually, no. I don't know if it is. No, this is a list filtered by... Actually, let's just check. Where's the filter? Okay, I do need to do more research on this, damn it. But one way or the other, but it's the thing that sort of gave me the idea and let me know that it was possible to do it. However, what put me onto Notion to start with, as a tool I could use, because the majority of times when I've looked at different task management software, they've been very rigid in how that you're meant to work with them, was this video, which I got put onto by the Cortex podcast, and through Nebula, found Thomas Frank here, who used Notion to do his video production for his YouTube channel. He had previously a system which was loads of different other little programs and things like that, sort of how I bodged things together already, and he's been able to basically integrate it all into the one thing. I would actually recommend this video here, because he does a better job of explaining it than I do, and while it's not my system, it is one of the things that I'll be using as for ideas. And basically his system, while it is specifically for tracking his videos, whereas I want it for more general tasks, he also pointed out how you can do... Oh, that's why I couldn't do the searchy thing. Sorry, I'm looking at the actual template, not like a copy that I've taken into my Notion, so that's why it wasn't working as I wanted to. But either way, you can open it up, and then the actual items themselves can have a pre-made template. And like, for instance, this one here has a B-roll list, which is another database, basically. And what I was thinking of, instead of having like a specific database created for the project, like say if I have a project, the making the task manager thing, the individual tasks can be in the main task list, and then I can have a filtered view of the lists here. These are the predefined filters that he's got here. For instance, for the gather, that's telling you where to gather them for all the fixes, if there's any fixes that need doing, the timestamp, and the idea being I'd be able to go here and have tasks of the project that still need doing, tasks that have been completed, the research, and being able to get to everything from the one page. But by starting off with a sort of like master list, which is just the database of everything, and then using the fields like project, and select which project is attached to, context, what context is it attached to, and things like that can be used. Now, I've waffled on a hell of a lot, but I think I've covered both. Oh no, wait. Because I knew that now, instead of having the 6 different lists here that I had, I did very much simplify how I think the diagram now has to work. We have the inbox, so stuff to inbox. First step, just from each item in the inbox, is it worth keeping? No. Stick it in the trash. Can it be done in 2 minutes? If yes, I probably should have put that on the other side so that yes and no could have been kept on the same. But anyway, it's just to quickly show what it was, how I. It's just to quickly show. It's only to quickly show how I think that the system is to be worked out now. Can it be done in 2 minutes? If so, do it. If no, what type of entry is it? Add it to the list. And on the side step, pick who does it. I didn't draw that very well, but you can probably get the idea. It's what type of entry is it? If it's a project, okay, that's how my thinking was working. If it's a project, you break down the project into its individual, or you add it to the list, and also break down the actions and run it back through the circle. If it's a delegating one, you pick who does it, but it still goes onto the task list, the master task list, just with a waiting for tag. Okay, that was a rather rambly and probably even longer than the previous video, but hopefully it's got it across, and it might have even shown why these particular type of videos I try to somewhat script them.